Okay, guys, so Justin Trudeau has finally done it. They've finally gone complete bananas. I mean, this is just absolute baloney. This whole Pierre's record website that they've released, it is such a joke. But let's go ahead and take a look at it for ourselves. Okay, so here we are. The site's finally live. How does the site work? Click clown to rank his worst moments. Are you kidding me? The only clown is Justin Trudeau. 14,000 people have actually clicked clown to this. What is this crap?
Do as they say or they will shut the place down with a strike. They collect mandatory union dues from workers, even those who choose not to be members. Talk about taxation without representation.
A federal conservative government led by an ideologue like Pierre Poilievre will create a country where workers and Canadians feel less safe and have fewer protections, where workers will share less of the wealth, and where workers' rights are undermined, and employers will always have the upper hand. We must not let this happen. We must do everything in our power to expose Mr. Pierre Poilievre for the fraud that he is.
What the heck is this bullcrap? All right, what's the next one? I mean, all that didn't do anything. You gave...
They collect mandatory union...
You gave 14 seconds of Pierre, and then the rest of the clip is some liberal head talking. Okay, so now, defined marriage as a union between one man and one woman. Okay, let's see.
The meaning of the term marriage ought to be preserved as a union between one man and one woman to the exclusion of all others.
Okay, let's see the next one. Received a government pension at 31 and then raised the retirement age on hardworking Canadians. Let's see.
Conservative Member of Parliament Pierre Poilievre, who will now qualify for a full pension the same month he turns 31.
Significant increases in the effective retirement age are required.
Basically what that means is he's not in it for his pension. He doesn't need to keep staying in government, yet he still does anyway. That's actually a good thing.
Required to maintain control of the cost of pensions.
Pierre Poilievre, the workers of Canada salute you.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Visited and courted far-right extremist groups. Like, oh my God, this better not be a dialogue thing.
Pierre Poilievre is among the top trends today after video surfaced that shows him visiting demonstrators who seem to be associated with a far-right extremist group.
You can see flags we've become more familiar with,
Trucker
such as
freedom
the Trudeau flags,
like,
the upside-down
Canadian
Canadian flags. There's also a hand-drawn diagonal, there it is, yes, diagonal sign.
Members of the group have been affiliated with the so-called Freedom Convoy and the far-right group Diagolon.
He needs to appeal to this base of conservatives that are not on board with Operation Global Homo, and he needs them to win. So the conservative base, it's our job to basically start pounding him with these questions and holding him to them so that he can't just run away from them. And you see what I'm saying? You can make him do things because he's a weasel. That's what's kind of interesting about it.
Okay, so they don't support Pierre, and Pierre's never once said he supports Diagolon, so there's no connection there. What kind of liberal video is this, man? Okay, next one. Said Indigenous peoples needed to learn the value of hard work. When has he ever?
Now, along with this apology comes another $4 billion in compensation for those who partook in the residential schools over those years. Now, some of us are starting to ask, are we really getting value for all of this money? And is more money really going to solve the problem? My view is that we need to engender the values of hard work and independence and self-reliance. That's the solution in the long run. More money will not solve it.
What's to disagree with there? He's saying that they need their own pockets lined with their own and just leave them alone and let them have hard work and perseverance instead of us government getting involved. I don't get, like, where is that video supposed to make me not want to vote for Pierre. 6, committed to free votes, allowing his MPs to bring forward anti-abortion legislation. I'm not even going to click this video. I know exactly what this is about. They've been trying to push this agenda that conservatives are going to do some huge anti-abortion legislation. Pierre's never once said that. This is absolutely ridiculous. Turned his back on Ukraine. Okay. Why? Because he says he doesn't want to shell out billions and billions of dollars.
All those opposed to the motion will please rise.
Mr. Poilievre. Mr. Poilievre.
I can tell you you're alien.
He's voting for... We already have a free trade agreement with Ukraine. Justin Trudeau tried to put in a carbon tax into that agreement, and Pierre voted against that. That's all he's not voting against Ukraine. He's voting against putting a carbon tax in a trade agreement. So, again, another really bad misinformation campaign here. 8, use misogynistic YouTube tags to... How can they...
Over the last 4 years, Poilievre's official YouTube videos included a controversial hidden tag. CBC News confirmed the use of the tag, the acronym for men going their own way, stemming from a mostly online movement of misogynistic men who try to cut women completely out of their lives.
What the heck? What correlation was that? What in the world? That is a far stretch, you guys. That is a far stretch. Pushed an anti-vaccine agenda. We don't even have to say anything about that. That is just, I mean, we're not even going to go there. Followed the American far-right playbook to use anti-2SLGBTQI+ language.
Does not have a right to impose his radical gender ideology on our kids.
Does anybody disagree with that? Does anybody disagree with that?
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children.
Woke gender ideology imposed in their curriculums.
Radical gender ideology.
Religion of gender ideology.
Proponents of radical gender ideology.
Radical gender ideology.
Okay.
All of my proposals are constitutional, and we will make them constitutional. I think you know exactly what I mean.
What we know is that someone who uses this notwithstanding power, its first use won't be its last. And while we may...
He said he will use the notwithstanding clause to keep hard criminals like Paul Bernardo in prison. And now they're going to say that, oh, he's going to try and use that to do all sorts of other things. We already know the only person who's ever gone so authoritarian with emergency powers and things like that is Justin Trudeau. Don't even have to watch the rest of that video. Supported illegal convoy blockades. I'm sorry, a illegal convoy. I gotta see this one. This is...
I was out at an overpass as the truckers went by, and what I saw were cheerful, patriotic, optimistic Canadians.
I've been out meeting with the truckers and the other protesters.
Yeah, and where's Justin Trudeau hiding like a little baby?
I have found
he's actually out there.
Honest, hardworking, decent people, the kinds of folks who give you the shirt off their back.
That just makes you want to vote for him. What kind of videos are these, man? Delivered a speech to a group that claimed it was a myth that residential schools robbed Indigenous children. I don't think...
The Frontier Centre for Public Policy has published articles questioning climate change and denouncing vaccine mandates. But what seems to be driving a lot of this criticism, radio ads it released in 2018, claiming to debunk myths about residential schools.
He didn't even say anything. You just did a mainstream media report, which we often know can be misinforming, so ain't nobody believing that. Made it harder for Canadians to vote? Huh?
Yesterday, I introduced the Fair Elections Act.
There's a battle brewing over changes the Harper government is making to the Elections Act. Tories are making will disenfranchise thousands of Canadians.
There's been a lot of debate on this bill.
The CEO of Elections Canada has indicated his opposition to it. And let me just say that I am at peace with that.
Okay. I don't know what. He's making it so that illegal immigrants can't come and vote? I mean, no context there. Encourage Canadians to opt out of inflation with crypto. Guys, what's Bitcoin price right now? What did they say this video was?
You protected your
okay, they're
family
taking you
business
back to
against
2022, okay? 2022. Bitcoin price has doubled. It was at 26,000 in 2022 when he was telling. It was like 28 to 26,000. It's at almost 100,000. It's at 90 grand. So, again, another reason to vote for him. Wow. Thank you for that, Liberals. 16. Pose with someone wearing a straight pride shirt.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith are under fire for posing for pictures with a man wearing a T-shirt bearing the words "Straight Pride."
This isn't actually the first time that the Conservative leader has taken a problem.
I have no words for this. This is so ridiculous. 17. Called childcare a slush fund and tried to cut programs. Justin Trudeau is known for slush funds.
About cutting the supplementary spending, in your view, does that include the newly signed childcare agreements with most of the provinces?
We've said we do not believe in a $100 billion slush fund.
Yeah, the $10 a day childcare is not working. There is like a 2-year backlog, and it is, I don't know. There's only so many daycares that are offering it, so like, and if it's costing us a shit ton of money and it's not getting stuff done, what's the point? Promoted a I don't even know, Nahab ban? I don't know how you say that.
There was a federal court decision yesterday saying to the government that it could not get a stay to prevent this particular woman, Zunera Ishak, from having a citizenship ceremony while wearing her niqab.
We're not going to succumb to political correctness in order to accommodate a practice that is not in line with Canadian values.
So would it be fair to say that that's the extent of any sort of niqab ban, or might we hear other things down the road?
You'll have to wait till we're down the road to find out what's down the road.
Yeah, he wants to keep the way the ceremony process goes as it is. It's not, I mean, it's like changing the national anthem and stuff. He was against that. 19, use the term tar baby. I'm so speechless by these videos.
Fathered the carbon tax, put it up for adoption to his predecessor, and now wants a paternity test to prove the tar baby was never his in the first place. The tar baby was never his in the first place.
Let's vote for Pierre now. Thank you for that video. Number 20, talk down pandemic supports that help millions of Canadians pay their... You mean it was over $500 billion that we just pumped into the economy. Oh, and then guess what? We asked a bunch of people for $2,000 back that we gave them and stuff. Like, this is ridiculous.
Do you or don't you want to see special measures in there now? Because one would think that the federal government will have to have some for the country to deal with COVID-19.
I've just listed when you asked the question the first time, I answered it by saying that yes, we do believe that we need to lower taxes, eliminate regulatory red tape.
That doesn't exactly address COVID-19, though. In all fairness,
actually, in fairness, it might not address it the way you want to address it. You might want to address it through big fat government programs. We're conservatives, so we don't believe in that.
What's wrong? Thank you. Really appreciate these videos. They were really helpful in making me want to vote more for Pierre.